Hello there. Here we are again. Thanks for joining me. And we're now into week 4 of lockdown, is it? It's hard to remember. The days merge into one another, don't they? But things are developing, things are changing, things are happening. I've been quite impressed with some of the news I've seen recently, particularly with the speed with which companies are taking on new opportunities, new roles, or just being good citizens, certainly in terms of developing emergency supply chains for the supply of hand sanitizers and other protective equipment. And our local food chain seems to be getting to settling down at last anyway. But there are problems still, especially with long-haul supply chains, by the looks of things. I had an interesting email not that long ago from BDP International with some information on disruptions to the ocean lines sailing schedules and to air cargo transport. Although I can still see the odd cargo aircraft flying overhead here in Sussex. So yes, we're kind of getting used to things, aren't we? I wanted to talk about a couple of things today that are not necessarily, well, I suppose they are. Everything's COVID related these days. First off, you may have seen, if you're paying attention, earlier today we sent out a video that we recorded a few weeks ago, in fact, before the lockdown, when I spoke to Richard Shreve of Label Line about their biennial roadshow, which is due to take place in the middle of September, 2 venues in the UK. The way things are going, that may well be the first opportunity we'll get to get out and see our friends and peers in the industry. Although I still have hopes that Label Masters Dangerous Goods Symposium, which is earlier in September in Chicago, will also be going ahead and we can get there. If it happened tomorrow, we couldn't get there because there's no flights anyway. And speaking of that, we're talking about at the moment about the annual Dangerous Goods Professionals Confidence Survey. Now, I don't know about you, but if you're stuck at home, I find I can get a lot more done at home, which is why I work from home most of the time, so this is nothing new to me. But for those of you who aren't, maybe you're finding a bit of time on your hands. So when that survey comes round, within the next few weeks, maybe you can give it 10 minutes of your attention. So anyway, that's looking ahead. I did have some queries already on the Label Line Biennial Roadshow from a friend of ours in the States. Is this conference just for the British, he says, or just for Europeans? Well, it'll be European focused, of course, but there's no reason for Americans not to come and visit, and I understand this correspondent will indeed be there. Are there any educational opportunities before or after the conference? Well, Jean, yes, I believe you're doing a CDGP course beforehand, and you may find me there. Will any of the sessions be interactive with the audience? Well, that's the idea. And we'll be having a lot of panel sessions, which, touch wood, I should be chairing. And will there be a session on Brexit changes to UK DG transport rules? Probably. In fact, in the May issue of HCB, we will have a report from the BADGP annual seminar, which went ahead in the middle of March. And Helen North from the Department for Transport was very helpful in explaining the legislative changes rather than regulatory changes that will be needed post-Brexit. Do I have to be an existing Labour Line customer to attend? No, you don't. Anybody can attend. And do I need to come to both days? Well, you do, Jean, because you're going to be speaking there. For everybody else, probably not. The other topic I wanted to talk about, seeing as I'm trying to look ahead to what happens after the lockdown is finished and we're all safe, hopefully. And I had another communication from our friend in Switzerland, Paul Gooch, who says, reading the reports of layoffs, furloughed employees, short-time working, and the inevitable corporate failures which are going to accompany the pandemic, our thoughts may return to the subject of the loss of corporate memory. Well, indeed. He gives an example. The collapse of international air traffic is having a knock-on effect on ground handlers like Swissport and Menzies, Endata and so on, all of which are facing existential business threats. They're not alone. And the potential loss of IATA trained employees who are critical to the safe handling and loading of aircraft. Even if business eventually returns to pre-COVID-19 levels, which is a big if, some of those employees will be lost forever. We may see similar situations develop in chemical companies and logistics suppliers to the chemical industry. Well, I think this is a real concern. We've seen in the past that HR departments, particularly in larger corporations, often don't understand the dangerous goods chain and the importance of experience and proper training that goes with it. My experience at this point, and this is not totally from within the chemical industry, but within the broader logistics industry, is that logistics operators have indeed taken the opportunity to furlough employees, particularly those who I think are delivering to the consumer retail sector. High street sales have been wiped out virtually. There's stuff moving through e-commerce, of course, and there's plenty of call for delivery drivers. But for those where the business has dropped sharply, yes, furloughs and indeed redundancies have already been made. Now, on the QT, I'm told that what some of those companies are doing is actually choosing this moment to find an excuse to get rid of the people they don't really like or don't want, rather than those who are doing a good job and are essential to the business. And in smaller companies where the management structure is strong, I suspect that those who have a valuable expertise in dangerous goods, chemical transport, are not going to be those who will be affected by this. That doesn't mean to say that it's going to stay like that, and it doesn't mean to say that there won't be some losses of corporate memory, especially I think in larger corporations, as I said. And hopefully that we'll be able to get over that post-coronavirus, but we are going to have to take care. And so training obviously is going to be paramount. There's not much of that going on apart from online webinars at the moment. And see how we go. And of course, HCB hopefully will still be there to help that process along. There's a lot of hopefullys I've just noticed in this presentation. So hopefully, to wrap it up, hopefully I shall see you next week. And I dare say we'll still be in lockdown. So make a note in your diary. 1500 BST next Tuesday. Hope to see you there. Thanks for watching. Bye.